Hi guys, and welcome to another beautiful tutorial. So today we are going to be making this beautiful baby flounce dress. If you're interested in this one, please sit right back, relax, enjoy watching, consider subscribing and give this video a like. So I have this beautiful yellow organza fabric for this tutorial, and as you can see, this part is the length. That's the part of the length for the fabric. That's the 60 inches length, and then this other side is the width of the organza. I have a total of 5 yards here. So for the 5 yards, I'm going to be folding it into multiple folds, so that it is small enough for me to work with. So this is the first fold, and then I have it folded again into another fold. So this is the second fold, and it's still too wide for the camera, so I have to fold again. So this is the third fold. Okay, so I have it well folded so that I can work with it perfectly. So after folding, you're going to arrange all the edges so that they are equal. So after the arrangement of the edges, I'm going to be measuring the length. So for the length, I'm using the length of 26 inches, and I'm going to be adding an extra 4 inches to the length that is for the crinoline folding. So I mark the first layer out. So this is the first length, so I have that marked out, and then I cut out. So I'm going to be cutting them layers by layer, and then I get the fabric again. Always keep arranging the edges so that they are equal. And then the second one, I'm going to be reducing the length of the second one by 4 inches. So remember that I have an extra 4 inches with it for this, as in added to this length for the folding of the crinoline. So this is the second one, and I'm going to be using a total of 4 layers. So for this one, this is too short for the third one, so I'm going to be keeping it to use for the last layer, or the last step. So for the third one again, I take out 4 inches from what I have from the second one. Okay, so each of the layers is 4 inches longer than the other. So after cutting, I'm going to be ironing all of them. And for the crinoline, I have these two colors, the white and then the creamy one, but I'm going to be using the creamy one because it is the closest color to the yellow organza fabric. So to get started with the fixing of the crinoline on the organza fabric, so you place the crinoline on the organza fabric like so, and then you cover the crinoline with first of all half an inch, and then you cover it, or you fold again like so. Okay, you can see what I'm doing. So after you've done that, you now start your stitching. And please, as you stitch, if you are using a crinoline for any dress, please make sure you do not pull, okay, and make sure that it is well covered and firm, as you can see me do. Do not pull it. Make sure it is relaxed and free on its own. Do not pull, because by the time you pull, at the end of the day, you're going to be having a swaggling looking dress for your outcome. Okay, so make sure it is well relaxed as you stitch. So this is what you're going to be doing from the beginning to the end of each sewing with the crinoline. Okay, so I have the first layer, that's the longest one, covered with the crinoline, and I'm going to be showing you another method that you can use to stitch your crinoline. Okay, so if you don't want to stitch just once like I did, so the first half inch that you're going to be using to cover your crinoline, you have that stitched down all the way. This is mainly for beginners, in case you're not able to do the whole folding at once. If you're a beginner, this is what you do. So after stitching the first one, you now fold over again, and then you have your second stitching done. This is mostly advisable for beginners, in case you can't manipulate your weight just like I did in the first folding and stitching. So this is basically how you're going to be doing stitching or folding your crinoline on your fabric. Okay, so that's basically it. It's not just for organza, for any fabric at all. So I have the crinoline fixed on all the layers of the fabric. So I'm going to be now I'm going to be placing them the way they should be. So I have them placed on each other according to their length, and I'm going to be using a gathered stitch to drape to the desired width that I want. So after stitching with the gathered stitch, I'm about pulling. So this is how you pull, and as you pull, make sure you are gentle enough. Do not be too forceful with the pulling, so that you don't have your thread caught, else you go back and start your stitching all over again. Remember that I used the gathered stitch to hold the 4 layers together. I didn't stitch the gathered stitch on each one after the other. I placed the 4 of them on each other and then gathered them together. So after that, because they were too full, I had to separate them because it was becoming difficult, so that I don't want, because I do not want it to cut like I said earlier, so I had to take out two. I gathered two separately and did the other two separately, and then I'm going to be stitching them on each other using a regular or a normal stitch. So as you can see me, I'm trying to manipulate my gathered or my fullness so that I can get. So after that, I'm going to be stitching them together. That's the two separate layers, the first two and the other last two. So I have them stitched on each other like so. You can see how full it is already looking. It's already giving us the vibe that we need for this particular dress. So after stitching the four of them together, this is what we have. This is how beautiful it has come out. Can you see this? So this is what we'll have at the end of the day. So at this point, the lower part of the dress is ready to be attached to the upper part. So this is what the upper part of the dress is looking like. You can see how neat it's looking both on the inside and the outside. So I open up the upper part like so, and for the lower part, I already had it gathered to the width of the waist of the dress. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. So I'm going to be stitching from one edge to the other. So I hold them together like so, and then I'm going to be stitching all the way. Note that for the stitching of this particular one, especially because of the lower part, it's not going to be as easy as you want. So you have to be very patient. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. So at this point, I'm going to be using another doll face fabric for the interfacing. So I'm going to be stitching this, and then I have it turned inside out. And at the end of the day, this is what we have. This is what it looks like on the inside, and then I cover it with the fabric that I'm using for the interfacing, and this is how neat it is looking on the inside. And at this point, we are ready. The only thing left for us now is to attach the zipper at the back of the dress, and that is the only thing that we have to do. And voila, our dress is ready. So this is how you go about the making of your baby flounce skirts using your crinoline and your organza. So that's basically it. Make sure your finishing is very neat and presentable. So this is what it looks like. And then for the ironing, I'm going to be ironing the crinoline, but for ironing of your crinoline, use iron on a very low heat, so that you don't have, crinoline. This crinoline is a plastic, so if you use a very high heat, it's going to melt away. So this is what it looks like, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this particular one. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know your thoughts about this dressmaking in the comment section. Thank you, guys, and see you in my next one. Bye.